Welcome to the ID10T podcast number 954. This is a very special episode, but I will get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the community corkboard, which is corkboard at id10t.com. Send us your events. Let us know. This one is a little inside baseball, but it's our very own Jonah Ray, who will be in Chicago at North Bar Friday, April 27th, Saturday, April 28th, performing. Friday, the early show is stand-up, and the late show is live movie riffing. Saturday, early show is stand-up. The late show is a live Jonah radio with special guest John Jughead Pearson from Screeching Weasel. Tickets and more info at liveatnorthbar.com. Could be live at North Bar. No, I think it's live at northbar.com. But you can also live there. Well, I don't know if you can live there. You can be alive there. Oh, homophones. So Jonah Ray, I hope you have great shows in Chicago. And Taylor Lima writes, after years of Chris, me, yelling at you to do a thing, grr, do it. I decided to listen and follow the advice and leave my comfy PR job for the less comfy position of self-employed dog trainer. My mission is to make dog training as fun as possible for both human and dog. I offer group and private training options and pride myself on using the most modern, effective methods to ensure lasting success. Whether you're welcoming home a new puppy or trying to teach an old dog new tricks, I'm located in British Columbia, and you can find more info or sign up for classes at wolfwhoshappy.com. That's WOOF, who's, WHOS, happy, HAPPY.com. COM. I'm just going to spell everything now. Maybe I will. WILL. This episode is Louie Anderson, who's returning to the podcast. Someone that I've known really since before I started even doing stand-up. I met Louie for the first time in 1996, I guess. And he's always been a dear friend and a lovely human being and someone that I've adored. And he has a book out called Hey Mom, and it's available wherever books are sold. And it's such a stunning work. It's basically it's all like a letter to his mom. It's all about his mom. And if you watch Baskets, you know how brilliant he is on that show. And if you're not watching Baskets, his portrayal as Christine Baskets, I think, is one of the most beautiful, hilarious, and poignant performances on all of television. Legitimately, if I didn't know Louie, I would say that as well. But we discover in the podcast, he talks about how it really is, Christine Baskets is really based on his mom. And because it was about moms, he said to me, hey, do you think your mom would want to join us? Mother's Day is in kind of soon. And I said, oh my God, because my mom's a huge fan of Louie's, loves him, adores him. So my mom said it on this podcast, and this is very special to me. I mean, I had my dad on in 2012, and I hadn't ever had my mom on the podcast before because I'm an asshole. But I have rectified this, and I was over the moon to be able to have her on, particularly this episode. And I got to say, she's really good. You'll hear, I was impressed. I was like, she's never done she's been a guest on a podcast once or twice, but there were times where I just sat back and I'm like, Mom's driving this one and she's killing it. So, I was very happy and proud to have her on. Love you, Mom, and I love you, Louie Anderson. This episode does have a sponsor. That sponsor is Black Tux. So whether you're going for a stylist-selected outfit or you're going to build a custom look, the Black Tux has tons of new suits and tuxedos to choose from for whatever your big events are, particularly with spring coming up. There's probably a lot of dance things if you're a younger person, or wedding things if you're an older person, or just I want to look like an international spy going to a bar types of things. So the Black Tux is always changing up their looks, making it fun to try out different suits and tuxedos. Even if you have your own suit, switching it up with the Black Tux is a great idea. And they have this new fit algorithm, so you don't have to awkwardly measure yourself or ask a friend for help. They do it for you. Plus, the Black Tux free home try-on lets you see the fit and feel the quality of your suit months before your event. So after you're ordering, the suit's going to arrive 14 days before your event, and returns are super simple. You wear it, then you send it back 3 days after your event. Shipping is free both ways. So stand out at your event for the right reasons with the Black Tux. Get 20% off your purchase. Visit theblacktux.com/ID10T. That's theblacktux.com/ID10T for $20 off your purchase. The Black Tux, premium rental suits and tuxedos delivered. And now here's the ID10T podcast, number 954, with Louie Anderson and my mom, Sharon Hills.
Fan of mine.
Huge fan.
Which I'm always like, because comics used to kind of sneer at me in the back of the comedy, I think it was Howie who might have said it to me once, Howie Mandel. You know, Louie, my mom doesn't ask about how my career is going. She's asked how you're doing. Something like that. She doesn't care about what I'm doing, but she asks about how you are.
That's incredibly aggressive for a Canadian, too.
Yes, that's true.
And for Howie, who's like the nicest guy.
He is. But, I mean, I think he felt like my mom never asked me about how I'm doing.
And I always say...
Maybe it wasn't Howie either, because I'm older now, so I forget everything.
Let's just say it's him. It's fine. He'll take it. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I always say, Louie's comedy is very clean, and he's hilarious.
I know.
Hint,
I know.
hint.
I'm so ashamed of how dirty I am on stage. I really wish I could crack the clean joke, but my brain never goes there.
I was just made for that. I just was a disciple of a bunch of guys who were, you know, Bob Hope and Jack Benny and Johnny Carson and, you know, Jonathan Winters and also Jackie Vernon, who was a beautiful comic. And so and it fits me better. Like if I go, fuck you, does that even sound mean?
It doesn't sound mean, but it's hilarious.
It's funny, but you bastard.
Yeah, I guess.
Son of a bitch. I'll kick the shit out of you. I'll knock the F out of you. I can't even say it again like that.
It's getting funnier every
You want me to cut you open and pee on you? I'll do it. It's not
Listen, you might be onto something.
Maybe that's my new album. Will you produce it?
I will. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Louie.
Going super blue.
Yeah. Sorry, by the way, Sharon. I didn't mean to go crazy.
Have you seen my Twitter?
Yeah, my mom has a when she's watching sports, she's a very filthy mouth.
Well, what's your team? What's your team, Sharon?
Oh, well, I have
Can I
teams
call you
in
Mom?
every sport. Well,
all right, I'll call you Sharon.
yeah, you better.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Geez, I got to look. that was ice cold. I'm telling you. That was,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That was your offer's too low.
Yeah, your offer's too low. Come back to us when you're ready to.
Hey, don't waste my time.
I'm not ready for this.
Well, at least it wasn't fuck you, Louie.
Yeah, which is a great new special coming soon.
Yes, I think it would be good.
Who are your teams?
Well, it just depends on which sport.
Oh.
I love
Basketball?
the Miami Hurricanes.
Oh,
That's my school,
Okay.
and I love everything about the Miami Hurricanes. Love UCLA, love the Bruins, love Louisville basketball.
nice.
I had Villanova to win it all.
You did?
Yeah, but my other three bit the dust. Like early, I had Virginia, and I had North Carolina and Duke, which you would think would have been up there.
Katie, what are they
in
talking
a year?
about?
But
We're
but
losing
at least,
the audience.
yeah.
My mom,
But those are good. I didn't know all that. I'm glad I know that.
this was a very special. Maybe when's Mother's Day? It's in May. Mm-hmm. Maybe this will be like, I don't know if is this going up before Mother's Day? It's going up before Mother's Day. Maybe this will be like a pre-Mother's Day thing because your book is about Mom and my mom is here.
Yeah, and I just thought, wouldn't it be interesting, because my mom's not here. That's one of the reasons I wrote the book, so I could kind of talk to her. But one of the things that came out from writing the book is, I thought, wouldn't it be good? And, of course, I knew I was lucky enough to be on your podcast again, which I appreciate. And wouldn't it be cool, because your mom knew me.
Yep.
And because comics moms are so important, I think.
Right.
Or one of the parents usually is, well, both, I guess, in a combination. But moms are usually, like my mom, without her, I would probably not be this comic. I would not be as good, because of some kind of the infusion, that certain mix of stew that I was raised with.
I think I was pretty lucky that both my parents have good senses of humor, like but different senses of humor. My mom has always been really funny and also, I was lucky to have I wasn't a rebellious comic. Like my parents don't get me. My parents were very supportive. My mom, always gave up a lot to make sure that I was taken care of and got everything I needed and had a good education and, supported buying me comedy albums when I was like 6 years old, like Steve Martin albums.
That's really
and,
cool.
you know, so she recognized so I would say, that without her, I may not have pursued comedy because she recognized that I was attracted to Saturday Night Live, and particularly Steve Martin. Was like, hey, here's a Steve Martin album. Like, she fed that addiction early on. And my dad went along with it, but it was my mom who, you pretty much drove that, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, my dream was always he would be a professional athlete.
My mom's too, by the way.
I mean, I was like, okay, maybe tennis and golf, maybe not football. And I could tell early on it wasn't going to be basketball. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, I just thought, well, and then I suddenly realized he had no passion for it.
Yeah.
And I'm just a believer in you have to let your child follow their passion, whatever it is.
Thing,
I mean,
Sharon, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, like my mom somehow used humor and kept me. I don't know. I think she deflected a lot of things that could have been really hard for me, but she protected me in another sense. And Sharon, athletes, they're amateurs compared to the passion that comics have.
Absolutely.
I mean, because comics are just, you know, we're really almost sick with it.
It is.
I don't mean it in any like.
No. It's true. And when people say like, "Wow, how do you get up there and tell jokes?" and I go, I think I have a problem. Like, I think I'm broken. Like, it's not a choice. I don't know if I could do anything else. But
it's important to us.
Yeah.
Like, it's important to the athlete that he gets to a certain place in the athletic, you know, is it pantheon?
I guess.
Pantheon?
Sure.
Pathological. But he gets somewhere. In comics, we have to do it. It's some kind of sicko thing. You're right.
But there's nothing, but it's so non-linear in terms of, you know, I think what drives so many comics crazy is that we have a predisposition to that, but then also it's very difficult to sort of track, how am I doing? Well, my last show was good. Well, enough people showed up, so I guess I feel good about myself. Oh, this next show didn't do as well. Where were all the people?
We should not be the judge of our own careers. That is one thing that we really, like, when we get off stage, our expectations in our head are, you know, like I can't tell you how many horrible shows I thought I had that people came up and praised me and said it was the best show of all time they ever saw. And I go, oh, come on. Fuck you.
He's doing his catchphrase.
I've never sworn so much in my life.
look what we did.
That is my friend's, a good friend of mine, Abraham. That's his fuck you. That isn't really mine, but I didn't know how to say it unless I used somebody else's way of saying it.
But you're trying it on, and it feels good.
It does.
It feels right.
I fucking love it.
What have we done? What have we created?
I mean, you know, I think the worst word my mom ever said once was cat piss.
That was it.
That was as bad as Aura God.
Wow.
You know,
So
and I have to say, because we all love baskets so much.
Thank you.
And as I've said many times before, on paper, that show shouldn't work. When you go, well, Zach plays his twin, and one of the twins has a weird accent, and then Louie is their mom, and then Martha's really dry, and he wants to be a clown, but he's not, and they have a rodeo. But everything about the show is magical. And I imagine hearing you say that your mom was a master at deflecting, that's Christine.
Yes.
Christine is a masterful deflector.
The Emmy goes to Louie Anderson. The reason I won the Emmy isn't because of Louie Anderson. I honestly believe that. I might have been able to sponge it off her, but all those little ticks and those nuances and that purse of the lips that she was so famous for, just among us. Because my mom was, you know, kind of like when she'd walk in I'm telling you, she always had control of the whole thing. She was just so much more in control of, I don't know what it was, almost like she had an atmosphere around her. You know what I mean? She was able to, like, I can't explain it. She had a lot of charisma. See, and I didn't know what charisma was growing up. I just go, Mom. When Mom would come in the room, I would feel it. I would feel it. Just like my dad with his drinking, I would feel it. But my mom brought, you know, more sunlight in. and more of a almost like some shade for how dark it got.
Was she as joyful as Christine is?
Yeah, and she complimented everyone, which I thought was such a wonderful quality.
My mom.
That she would make everyone feel good. And you noticed that.
Yeah,
because
my mom would say to you, Sharon, isn't it? She would do that. Sharon. Now, kid, where did you get this beautiful jewelry you've got on? Can you give a gal
I love
an
her
idea
so
of where
much.
you get it?
Did all those little ooh? Because Christine is overjoyed by everything.
And I think
we get to order this menu. Everything is like a treat for her.
My mom made the biggest thing out of the littlest thing.
Yeah.
Like she would say, look at that beautiful roast, huh? And I would think, you would never think a roast was beautiful. I mean, I might, but I mean, I just, the joke was laying there, so I thought I should chew it up.
But you know what it needed? I fucking would have. It's a fucking roast right there is what that is.
But in baskets, the Dasante, remember when the twins bring me a case of Dasani water?
Yes.
I said, what can I do? I'm sitting there. We get a Jonathan Kreisel, who is really responsible for this journey in so many ways, on so many levels. But when I was to put the water up, I thought of my mom and I went, oh, what Dasante? She changed it, made her own. Oh, this is this blue. I'm going to put this up. This would look nice just in a window in its own. It's such a color. And that was definitely my mom. That was thought of the way she would do it. Same with the curly fries. We had little salt dips. We live in the projects. We had little salt dips that mostly rich people have that you dipped the radish in. And my mom made these are from Prussia, And I go, yeah, so what? I would go, that's what I regret, being a little shit to my mom.
What I think is so beautiful about your mom is that she had so much to overcome for you kids.
Yeah.
To have 11 kids.
Jesus.
And to have the pain that she knew you all were feeling. And I think that she somehow felt responsible for it, but really couldn't. I mean, in those times, how could you just leave and have 11 kids and survive?
Where would
She couldn't. And I think she was always trying to overcome, and she was always trying to make it up to you. And it touched me so much when I read this book. I'm going to start crying now. But that she loved you so much, and she just wanted to make it up. So she wanted to make it joyful, and she wanted to make it happy. And when you were talking about the Dasani and Dasante, and you picked it up, and Jonathan, it seems that he allows you the freedom. I noticed that you said you'll have the script, but you'll be out there, and all of a sudden it doesn't feel so much like Aura.
Right.
So you
have to get back in line.
And
Katie,
he
this
gives
lady's
you the
good.
freedom.
Yeah.
Where did she?
When does your podcast
When
start,
is this
Sharon?
podcast going to start?
I think it's not.
She's
Moms.
read the book. She's checked in. She's making
completely
connections on
present.
the fly. She's engaged.
It's really true, though. It chokes me up because you're right. Until you said that, I didn't realize it, but I'm sorry. Oh, God.
I know, me too.
She, like in The Green Mile, when he would take the pain out of someone else.
Yes.
And
That's how I see her, and it's such. This is such a tribute to that woman and that mother and what she was and who she was.
She was great, and I get to honor her. How many people, with their mom not being around, get the chance to play her? In fact, when I'm done with this part, I don't think I'll ever be heavy again.
Oh my goodness!
So, I know it's just a crazy thing. Like I have this, I'm really working hard on my health, and one of the things that I have been keeping this weight on for some purpose. I actually think this was the purpose.
Oh my goodness!
Was to tell this story. Was to
play her,
embody
to
her,
play her.
to tell the story.
Yeah, like this was the journey I was supposed to. I don't know if you believe in all that stuff, but it feels like this was the journey. I mean, if you were to script in this for Hollywood and say this was the part that I was going to get, nobody would even. It wouldn't make sense or believe it. Who would think I am going to play the part of Zach Galifianakis' mother in a absurd comedy?
Right.
How could that even? How does that play? How does that work out?
And it's maybe one of the most magical characters on television
and most beloved.
So sweet
I don't
of
know
you.
anyone who doesn't love this character, and it's just.
I'm
such
sure
a
my dad
tribute
fucking
to
hates
her.
it.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding, Dad. No,
but I do think it's interesting to hear you say that when you're done with Christine, it's not even it's the spiritual weight of it and the physical weight of it to finally just purge and to release it. So that's an incredible experience.
yeah, like I just I've had the thought recently. I go, I'm not going to. First of all, I'm not going to live if I don't make a conscious choice about my health. But also, I don't feel the same need, the compulsive eating. I don't know where it clicked off in me, but I don't eat as well as I should. But I don't compulsively eat anymore.
Can I make a guess about that?
I have one too.
Then we'll both make a guess, and then you can pick.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. A very special moment when we return. But
Sorry.
So this idea that you've in embodying this character Christine, who is ultimately your mother, you've become more comfortable in your own skin, and in being more comfortable in your own skin, you don't feel the compulsion to destroy, to hurt yourself, to punish yourself. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with just you. It helped you discover who you are.
Yeah, maybe you're exactly right.
Mom, what's your guess?
I love that.
She's
I love
smarter
that.
than I am.
Yeah.
So she
No,
probably
one
No,
thing-
I like it.
I like it too. One thing
so smart.
one thing
Your son's so smart. You did such a good job. You know that, right? What a
I'm
great
so
guy
proud.
this guy is.
He makes me look good.
He makes everybody look
I
No,
get
I'm
a lot of
huge
credit
pain in
for
the ass. This woman has the patience of a saint.
Wow.
This woman should be
Maybe
sainted.
yeah, well.
You should be sainted.
Thank you. We'll send that up. But
funny
To
too.
where?
She sent it up.
Yeah, she gotta
to
send it up.
heaven.
Yeah.
Or to the Vatican, one of the two.
no,
Didn't you just recently list that?
Listen, I I go straight to the top. You know what I'm saying?
yes, I got
if
you.
I have a complaint about United Airlines, I go to the CEO. I don't bother with the president. So I'll
I
go
love that.
straight up to heaven.
She's a
with
doer,
that
this
one.
one.
Yeah, I love that though.
But I was going to even ask you if it was a real catharsis for you writing these letters.
Yeah.
I love the format. I think it's just a beautiful format, like in letter form, and so personal to your mom. But I saw in here a lot of guilt that you had.
Oh yeah.
And it hurt me so much.
Yeah.
But I can tell you as a mom that when your kids do something and it hurts you, like inside your feelings get hurt, because people just do that. We don't feel it after that.
Oh,
we
thank
don't
you, Sharon.
hold it, honestly. I mean, I know, I read, the part about at the White House, when you went to the White House, and I know you've carried a lot of guilt about that, but I promise you, Orazella does not
You're so sweet.
think about that.
Thank you so much.
She really doesn't.
I mean that my instincts were right about having your mom, because this is it's just so perfect. I mean, she's a comics mom, and to say those things.
And she's incredibly. This one over here,
So
is-
sensitive.
She's like a mega mom.
Yeah.
Like her.
She's like a Yoda mom.
Well, this is the type of person my mom is. So my mom has this real shitty cat. And this cat, the cat's an asshole. It just is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
She
little
can't
cat.
help it.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this cat, there was a period of time where like my mom was like, I think Grace ran away, and inside I was like, fuck, I hope so. But with my mom, because she'll show up and this is perfectly embodies. So my mom shows up and she'll have these gashes in her arm where the cat bites her and scratches her because it's a rescue cat. It's a beautiful little cat. And I go, Mom, what are you doing? Just open the door. Just let this cat is biting you. You don't deserve this. It's my mom. She can't help it. She was not given the life. She didn't deserve this. So she like just absorbs the damage and doesn't blame the damager. And I still think that cat's an asshole, but this is a testament to like how maternal and how loving she is, that it is really like when you talk about unconditional love, this woman, I see it from her, because I'm a huge pain in the ass. The recovering addicts, like comics, it's a lot of
it's
ego.
not true. He's
such
lying.
pain in the ass. And then she's just,
No, he's right, Sharon.
No.
No, I mean, Sharon.
I don't see it ever. So, I mean, I see.
Well, if the cat's biting you and that kind of stuff. Very few people would have that, like maybe after 3 times, but if the cat has done this over, it sounds like it was a traumatic experience for you.
2 cats and a rescue dog, and they are her children, and when they die, it's very hard on her. It's very hard on her, but I always say to her, like, you have to understand, these animals. Any person would be lucky to be reincarnated and be an animal rescued by you, because their lives are unfucking believable. I mean,
they have their own house, basically.
I mean, basically yes. But
you're not mad about it, though.
No. I used to be really jealous.
You did?
Oh my God!
Oh, he was an only child, and he was jealous of the dogs. When he was little, he would tattle on the dogs to try to get them in trouble.
Well, they were looking at me.
He didn't have any brothers and sisters.
He called me from the other side of the house. He was upstairs. I was downstairs. He gets on
you can cut all that out.
the intercom. Mom, I need you. I need you to come up here. It's really important. Okay, I go all the way across the house, up the stairs, back to his room. I walk in. I said, what's the matter? It's the dogs. What about them? They're bothering me. Well, but what are they doing? They're looking at me, and I don't like it.
Well, I didn't, and they wouldn't listen to reason. So I had to call Mom in.
I love that.
To take care of the problem. Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's really lovely that your mom is here, and I'm getting to share her with you for a little while.
Oh, yeah. Well,
it's
she
a really
adores
beautiful
you.
thing.
Like sending her that text, I knew how happy it was going to make her. Like, Louie wants you on the podcast. Oh, really? Like, it was such a, she was so excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
I just... Well, she already has made me feel how lucky you are, because already she did so many sweet things in the short amount of time. Even before you got here, she, mentioned how happy my mom would be over all of this. And
she's so happy.
Yeah, you're so sweet, Sharon.
It can't be. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I literally can't imagine the job of being a mom and what it must be to have to, keep it all together, be strong, be a rock, but also have to separate yourself and let stuff go, still love people that are mean to you sometimes, but still just have that unconditional. I mean, it's almost unfathomable to me. Does that make me a bad person that it's difficult to fathom?
No, not
I guess that's just so specific to being a mom. I mean,
and an only child, that's a whole nother experience that unless you're an only child, people can't. Because I've met only child people, and but when you meet an only child, I almost always immediately know that it's an only child, almost immediately, because they are only doing their thing, and they don't really. They have to be. If they weren't taught to know other people exist, they can be very, just.
Oh yeah.
And they don't even mean it.
No.
They're just everybody's always done everything for them.
Right.
And they haven't had to share one person.
It's
so they just kind of either. Does that make any sense?
No, more than you can imagine.
It's a challenge to make the child understand that you're everything to me. You're everything to me in this world, but you're not everything to everyone else in the world.
Right. That's exactly right, because that's
But to me,
right.
There's no question.
And my mom did that with all 11 of us.
I know, it's amazing.
We thought, each one of us thought, she really thinks I'm the best.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, she was really good at it. Even when we were in the same room, she just looked at me. I think I'm the favorite. But my brother Jimmy was the favorite. I just never would admit it.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, my brother Jimmy he could do no wrong.
My
But,
dad was
I
one
love
of
my brother
11,
Jimmy. So.
11 kids.
Oh, really?
Yes, one died when my dad was a child. But he said my mom had, after the one died, there were 8 boys and 2 girls. And he said she had 10 kids, raising 10 kids, and we were all spoiled.
Yeah.
She would make
some people
for
have
this
a,
one
Those
with that
Italians,
one.
they just came over. They landed in New York in the early 20th century, and they just started this human pyramid scheme. It's like, let's just make as many as we can, and they did.
It's common. A lot of Italians, a lot of big families with Italians. When I meet people, I'm from 7, Louie.
Yeah,
that was my Italian.
Birth control is no fun, right? Am I right?
Hey, fuck you!
Hey, fuck you! What, the pull out? I don't pull out. I stay here the whole time. Hey! Doing justice to my family heritage.
Oh my!
Well, what?
Yeah.
So, did you ever want a lot of kids, or you wanted to keep it small?
No, I wanted 4.
Whoa!
Yeah, I wanted 4 children, and
the 3 animals.
after Chris, that's right.
Oh my God, you're right!
So easy.
Holy shit! You're totally
the 2 dogs and a cat.
That's
Oh my
exactly
God.
right. And I have 4. But
fantastic.
I lost my second little boy at 7 months.
Sorry.
And
So he wasn't 7 months old. You gave birth at 7 months.
that's right. That's when I was 7 months pregnant. He was premature and lived a day and a half. But fortunately, I had this one at home, and that kept me strong and kept me going. And I decided, because I had this wonderful father who taught me strength and faith. And so I just decided that he wasn't here with me, but every time Chris did something twice as funny or twice as cute or twice as naughty, I thought, that's Joseph. And there, I always sense him through his brother. I do feel there's both of them there. And so to me, that was the way that I dealt with it. But
she always feels it every.
Yeah.
He was only alive for a couple of days, and I don't mean that in a smug way, but I mean like he was not on this earth for more than a couple of days, and yet, every year on his birthday, she still feels it. 40 some years later.
Well, you never do, but my joy has been that I've always believed he's in there. That I've been given both of them. It just helps me. I mean, I don't know if it sounds crazy.
Is that how you get through something like that?
Yeah.
Especially you're talking about in the 70s, where it's like, was not an era of let's all get therapy or let's all take mood altering drugs. Or
I had a great faith,
and you had a great father.
And I did, and your dad came in the room right after midnight. When he walked in the room, I knew the baby didn't make it, and I just said, call the priest, and I got through it that whole night, and then I was handling it so well that the doctor, I just got a nice kiss. Thank you. I was handling it so well, the doctor thought I needed to go to the psychiatric hospital. And I thought, okay, you're the one that needs a psychiatrist. I know, I'm going home to my baby and that I have at home, and, that's just...
You're so strong,
That's what you
Sharon.
do.
Your strength is just magnificent.
Well,
I said
I
this on in a post the other day that I've never, and I wish I were more like this, but my mom has been through a lot of tragedy. Lost a child and all her her parents. A lot of her immediate family. A lot of her friends, and she's a singer, so she would sing in the services somehow, buried a lot of people, and still, gets up every day and has still has a positive attitude. Like if anyone could just be depressed all the time, I don't think anyone would blame you with a lot of the stuff that you've been through, but it's just, it's incredible.
But I don't like that feeling. I feel like...
That doesn't mean that people don't
It still doesn't mean that, we're just, I mean, I think what you're saying is what I'm feeling is it's just so wonderful. And it must be the faith that you're talking about.
It is.
But it's just like
I mean, I loved your chapter about how you start your day every day now.
Right.
That you put yourself outside of yourself first. And
well, that's real tough for a comic.
It is. For anybody. But that's a good thing to say. I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's how he starts his day, and I love that chapter.
And it's really important for me to do it. And I'm just doing. I just have been really dealing with how selfish I've been in so many ways, and I'm not down on myself about it, but I'm just trying to get to that next level, of gratitude that I really need. And I think when you grow up in a family like mine, where when there's an alcoholic, one thing you learn how to do is you are second, because alcoholism is always first in the house, no matter what the alcoholic is, the other person in the house. It's like the whole world, like you say, you'd walk in the house and go, is he drinking?
I know.
And you'd even know it. You could feel it. It was just so, you got so perceptive, or else you just believed the times you were right.
And I don't know how you even get through New Year's Eve, because
I always perform on New Year's Eve.
I know.
Well, my dad was a drinker, and so my mom, she would.
It wasn't. He was never abusive, though.
But it was. He was
irritating, but he wasn't abusive.
But that was his outlet.
Yes.
That was his addiction.
He just didn't have. He had the best coping mechanisms that he had for someone who had. His mom, my grandmother was great, and she just passed away kind of recently. She was in her 90s. My grandfather was an asshole. And but provided for the family, provided food, but he just wasn't a real warm guy. My grandmother was just a very much like keep the peace, would clean up after his messes. My grandfather, and she was an incredibly strong woman, way stronger than my grandfather was a man. And and so my dad just didn't have great coping skills, so he left home to pursue a career at 17 to be a professional, and really was just like drinking was just his coping mechanism. He just didn't have a better skill set than that,
And the same story as my dad joined the service, made his stepfather or whoever that guy was who adopted him, that family, sign his induction to the service. Mm-hmm. And drinking was his thing, because I think that until not that long ago, people didn't talk about any of this stuff.
No, it was very heavy.
You go to the priest, or you go to the, you went to somebody, but you didn't talk about it.
No, and that's why I think it's so good to talk about it, because it needs to be normalized in the sense that it's not this thing that we have to tiptoe around and, you're something really wrong with you. It's like, well, you know what? Some people have the defect, and you can get through it, and it's okay, and you're not ruined for life. It's just like, it's just a thing you got to figure out. That's all.
I think that one of the things that is, I remember my mom. Sometimes I think my mom was just more stubborn than my dad, because he finally quit drinking when he was 69, and my mom turned to me and she said, "I told you he'd quit." and I just thought, what? I thought I was in a house of horrors. I thought it was a crazy house, right? They go, no, I didn't say it.
Right.
I didn't know what to say. It hit me like a shotgun blast.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It was a realization, like, oh my God, she thinks that's why. And we went to one Al-Anon meeting, and my dad went to one AA meeting. And then when he said, I don't need no fucking meeting. And he never went again, and we never went again. And that was a bad thing. We should have kept going.
Right.
But once the alcoholic again, he dictated, our health and getting better.
Right.
Because it was a time. It was the 60s.
Yeah.
So alcoholism, wasn't as, all those meetings, they were just getting going.
Well, I hope that you let it go. I hope you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like
my father, I I mean,
yeah.
Not that. I just mean the guilt or any of the, you said, oh, I was such a shit or whatever. I mean, it's like, at least, if that's even true, at least you've acknowledged it. You're ready to move on.
Well, that's what, no, and your mom, the thing she said right there was magnificent. And it's just like, I am the luckiest guy in the world. I'm playing my mom. I played my dad in my cartoon.
Right.
I worked through that. I really did a good job on forgiving my father. I really do forgive him, and think fondly of him for the most part. And he was very funny. And my mom, I just needed to, I'm playing her, and I just wanted people to know that, people always say you're such a nice guy, but I wish I would have been nicer. And I think that happens. And I say it not just for me. I think always what I go through, I think people might get something out of. And that's always the motivation, because, a lot of people don't like these kind of books. Right. A lot of people don't like this. I remember I got Dear Dad, but I was supposed to write a biography, this is funny Louie Anderson.
Right.
And I started writing the letters, and then they got in People magazine because they did a cover story on adult children of alcoholics, Suzanne Summers. And then I had these letters, and the writer said, and I gave them the letters, they got printed, and there was such a response. I said, this is the book this is the journey I should take. And the publisher said, we don't want to do this. And then I went to another publisher, and that's how the book happened. With my dad. And that journey I needed to take, and I got 10,000 letters. I still have them in boxes from people who had much harder times than my dad did. So,
do you feel is some of this a responsibility that you feel to let people know, like, hey, you can be okay, or appreciate what you have while you have it, or like, what is it that you want people to come away with?
I want them to do what you said to me. I want them to forgive themselves. I want them to be able to take that, because I think people carry all of it with them, and I think that's part of weight too.
It is.
I think you carry that.
If you do that.
I think you carry all these things. I think they're protection at first, and then a shelter, and then a burden, and like regret. I don't know what I was listening to, and they said that ambition or something like that weighs ounces or something like that. But then they said, but regret or wigwat. Wigwat, get in here.
Why is that?
Why? But regret weighs tons. And that really resonated with me, because I think regret, and that's what that's why I wanted to write it down. I wanted to do it. And, I'm really lucky. I
loved reading that in the book when you talked about regret, because my dad always said, never look back with regret, because that can really destroy you. And he used to tell us when we would screw up, he would say, okay, did you learn from that?
Yeah.
And, well, we'd say yes, or we had to say what we learned. And he said, if you don't do it again, then you have to let it go. You can't look back and beat yourself up for it. You just have to say, I made a mistake. I'm human. That's how I learned.
What a dad.
But when
what was his name?
Jim Facenti.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
But your mom was kind of a pill.
Well, she was a little bit, she was about, my mom died at 51.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Very suddenly, she had meningitis, and in like 12 hours, she was gone. But she had her own inner struggles too. And I guess that what I've tried to learn in my life is, and it really goes back to the way I feel about the cat, is that little cat was born on the street, and it was never touched with human hands. She'll rub up against me, she'll put her nose on, everything's fine as long as I don't go towards her. And I've just learned that having hands come towards her, I can't pick her up. but she'll lie next to me. She wants it, but she just doesn't know how to receive it if I'm touching her. And I just feel like that a lot of people, you know, that's how you have to kind of look at people. I have a lot to forgive my mother for, but I forgave her a long time ago.
God, you're like a sage.
Because I just
it's so
felt
beautiful.
like she wouldn't have done the things she did if she could help it.
Right. That's what
No
I think
one
about.
wants to be mean. No one wants to be cruel. No one chooses to be an alcoholic. I just don't believe that.
But that's an interesting point of view, though,
Yeah.
too, with the cat and even with human relationships, is because some people only know how to love how they want to be loved.
Right, exactly.
But there's a whole next level shit going on when you can look at something and go, oh, this is how this person or this thing needs to be loved, as opposed to whatever I feel like doing. That's really.
So then there's conditions on it all. So when you're talking about your mom unconditional, that makes so much sense. But the unconditional love, that's what really you're.
And
full
Yeah,
of.
because some other people might look at that cat and go, I can't pick this cat up. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a useless cat.
Get rid of the
Or
cat. I can't
this
pick
cat's
it up.
But to say like, well, this is how this cat needs to be loved. I will allow her to receive the love the only way that she knows how. She's a better person than I am. I don't think I would have been able to tolerate that for too long. But
You're so sweet, Sharon.
Yeah, it is. Oh, can I thought of a riff.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to try this again. This isn't going to work, but try it again.
Okay, let's
I
do
wish
it.
I had said this before. And funny that it's about regret. But remember when you called regret in the room? Call regret into the room.
Forget, get in here.
Oh, I wish I hadn't. Hey, come on, you guys.
Yes.
Fun? It's
Well,
all
I think
right.
you should resplice it. I'll do it again. Forget,
Yeah,
get in here.
I wish I hadn't. Scene. We got
Yes,
it.
we got it.
Yeah, that's probably the cleanest joke I've ever written in my life. I don't know.
You know,
Funny.
joke writing is really all done so quickly, and then sometimes so painstakingly slow.
yeah.
you might. I've worked on jokes, for more than a century.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like. Well, I just turned 109.
You look great.
Yeah, I meant decade, but who can get all? When you get old, all the words aren't available.
Commit to it.
So, yeah,
Commit to it.
Commit to it. Sounded
just
good, didn't it?
commit to it.
Century. Is that right?
You know what? When Prince used to make a mistake on stage, he'd do it again. And then people would think it was intentional. So just own him. Own
I
that
love
mistake.
Prince.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
own that mistake. But do you feel? I mean, when did you lose your mom?
In 1990.
90.
Oh wow, that long.
Knows all that.
Yeah, she knows everything.
1990.
Are you able to tell I know it's hard
Yeah, I'll
because
tell
it took
yeah.
you to the end of the
Oh,
book.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
I'll
you
tell the
can,
story. You want me to
but
tell
the
it?
story at the end when you're in the hotel.
Yeah.
And the phone's ringing and you don't want to turn over and you look to the door.
Well, I'm in it's the old gold medal or something, gold medal flour mill was made into a boutique hotel right in Minneapolis long before boutique hotel. Really, it was really one of the first boutique hotels. And so all the hallways were small and they couldn't do anything with the building because they were, they have to keep the historical stuff. So it was a weird place. And I liked it because I liked the idea of thought I was cool. I'll stay there. And then, so every New Year's I do a show in Minnesota. And I happened to be there doing a show in Minneapolis. And, so I went to bed. I stayed a few days. So it was a few days after New Year's. It's January 4th. And I stayed a few days, and in the middle of the night, I heard the phone ringing. And I was facing the window, away from the phone, and I just said, what is that? And I just did not want to answer it. And we're hard sleepers anyways.
And it was like the hotel phone.
Yeah, it was a
so when your cell phone quit, it just kept ringing
ringing
and ringing. Louder.
like probably 25 rings.
Yeah.
And I finally turn over, and the ringing kind of disappeared, and a giant form was in front of me, just like, you know, the thing that is outside of car washes and they have the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know that thing?
Yeah.
That, but more beautiful and colors I know that don't exist. It's the weirdest thing. I can't explain it, but something like, what is this? But I didn't say that, but just like, you know, but there was a warmth. There was a smile within it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but it was engulfing me without touching me. But it was big. It was big and bright and beautiful, and the phone kept ringing. Then it came into the thing, and the phone rang, and I looked at it, and it was like you'd look at something and go, oh, like a little kid, oh, what is that? What is that? Right? And I reached for the phone, and I picked it up, and my brother Jim, my mom's favorite, said, Mom died. Mm-hmm. And I go, what? And when he said it, whoosh,
it was gone.
Under the door. Like a vacuum, like Ghostbusters, kind of maybe. Well, I don't know. Ghostbusters was on by 1990, I guess. Yeah. So maybe that's where. But anyways, it went under the door, and I go, what? What? Mom died.
And then he said, hold on, and he
and
ran
I said,
to
hold
look down
on.
the hallway.
Yeah. And I looked down the hallway to see where it went, and it was gone. But in that second, I just figured that was her.
Yeah. Was it a very sudden thing, or was
Yeah.
My mom always said, when I go, I want to go like that.
She'd died in her car.
Snap her fingers, and she died in her car, had a massive heart attack, and just went like that. She was gone. And so I don't know. I can still remember how clear it all was. And so, I'm not really like ghosts and all that stuff. I don't really like think, ooh, there's a ghost. I don't really think in those terms, but I oftentimes feel things. And I don't know if it's, comics have unbelievable intuition from my experience.
I knew you were going to say that.
I wish you really did know. I was going to say that because that you just would turn to a sheet of white, right? But anyways, that's what happened, and that was and that's how I started the letter to my mom. I kept putting it off, and I'd write these letters, and I go, Mom, I'm too tired. Tell her something. And I go, I'm too tired, and it's too emotional to tell you
about that
day you died. And so it's a beautiful.
It really is beautiful. It's a beautiful tribute. It's a beautiful. It was as heartbreaking as it was. She gave you a beautiful experience.
Yeah, and I hope the book isn't too sad for people, because I don't think it is.
No,
because I really made a point of not being like my dad. The dad book is really hard because it's so much sad stuff. But my mom.
No, there's a lot of light.
There's a lot of light just like her in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it... sometimes people can get caught in this thing where they say, oh, I want to feel better, or I don't want to beat myself up too much. But, letting pain go is really hard, especially if you've been carrying it around for a long time. Because like any bad relationship, like any toxic relationship, it's very comfortable. And it's like, well, who am I without that? Does that pain define me? It's so attached to my core being. How do I let that go and exist? I mean, do you have advice for people?
Well, a million people, like I've lost some weight, and when you lose some weight, there are two responses you get. Oh, you lost some weight. Are you okay? And I go, yeah, I'm okay. I meant to do it. Right? Oh, that's good. And then the second response almost from that is, well, do you think you'll still be funny if you lose the weight?
What?
Which is one of the most horrible things to hear as a fat person.
Right.
Because there's some truth to it. Name some of the actors and things that got thin. Their roles diminished. I don't want to say their names, but people know who they are. There are people who've lost weight, and they're never, in a lot of people's minds, the same. And I never thought of myself. I used to think I am not a fat person. I'm a person who happens to be fat. I tried to keep that in mind. I didn't play the fat
your
guy.
Your stand-up is not about that.
Well,
to me.
10 minutes of it was at the very beginning. which really
Let me move this mic
branded
stand
me.
so you can see me.
Yes, exactly.
I
It
remember
branded
that joke.
me. I always did fat jokes for one reason. I did on the Tonight Show. On the Tonight Show, I said, Louie, a friend come up to me and he goes, Louie, why you do all these jokes about being fat? That's no good. I go, because if I don't want people to sit out in the audience and go, hey, do you think he knows he's that big?
I remember that.
And that was an important joke. I thought that was an important joke about not making fun of myself.
Well, that joke serves the purpose of when you say like, oh, the audience might be thinking this, so I'm going to say this. It acknowledges a truth in the room at the moment. It gets everyone in the moment, and it opens up their minds so that anything you say after that, you're in.
Right.
It's sort of
manipulative.
It is, but that's part of your job as a comic is to be able to disarm the audience as quickly as possible. And the more famous you get, that happens automatically. But if you're not, you have to disarm the audience as quickly as possible so they go, oh, okay, this person's paying attention. We're all part of the same experience. I'm ready to be in. I'm ready to like this person.
Yes.
And that's all that is.
But the thing about Louie's audiences, because I've seen him live, is that his audiences
are a little different.
Because they come there, they believe, every one of them, because I sat around a lot, they actually think they're friends with him.
Yeah.
They actually know him.
But, they really
feel,
are in the sense of like I always feel comfortable with human beings, especially the ones I don't know.
Right. And they love you. They love anything that you say. And you know what? They're not hecklers, but they participate in your, right?
Yes.
They're not hecklers, but they're
like a group meeting.
It is.
It is.
But I guess who I got that from?
Your mom?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She could make anyone feel included. She could. She just had that thing. I think it was a gift of hers. And I was lucky enough, to get it. And I used to think people were heckling me sometimes, like you say.
No.
But they weren't. There was a guy at ballets once, and he kept going, hey! And I go, what is he talking about? Louie! You gonna explode?
Oh, geez.
Louie! But I couldn't put it all together. I go, this guy is not, and nobody could really hear him. The crowd could hear him around him, but he was just trying to go, Louie, it's right, Louie, you explode, just like that. And I go, finally it dawned on me, he's doing my joke from the Tonight Show. I go, I'm sorry I'm sweating, everyone, but if I don't, I'll explode. He's doing the joke.
Oh, that's right.
It touched him somehow.
Yeah.
It connected with him.
And he wanted to hear it again. He wanted you to do it.
He wanted me to do it.
He was just super drunk and trying to connect.
He was on it. Well, but I think the part of me, I think people know Dear Dad, and I think they want to reach out, and that's their reach out. They get really super drunk because I've had people where I've said to the people, the security, I go, don't throw them out. I go, listen, Janet, come on, let's just give me a little, relax. Yeah. Okay, Louie.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Well, his audiences kind of guide him too. Like they will tell him, they'll lead him into the thing they want to hear.
Yeah.
And there was a group there from Family Feud when I went last year in Pasadena.
Yes.
They wanted to talk about that.
I think it's with every comic. I think you must hear it all the time. People yell out stuff. That's part of, like, where they, it's like Arrested Development. Where did my connection become? It could be Family Feud. It could be Life with Louie. It could be, and now it's Christine.
Oh, I know.
Love you, Christine.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Do you do anything with her on stage?
No. All I say is that, listen, when I say somebody does that, I go, I'll tell Christine you said hi. Because I don't, even when I do my mom, it's not Christine on stage.
Right.
My mom thing was different because Christine became a real thing.
Right.
Christine became my mom if my mom were alive today. Because that's the difference. That would be the big difference. If my mom had the were alive in these times, she would be acting like Christine would.
But you have to know on some level that, I mean, Christine is a very corporeal embodiment of your mom, but sort of the way that you are, I mean, you know that you honor her that way, right? I mean, like the fact that these people who come to your shows and they feel like they're friends with you and you make everyone feel included, I mean, you've been doing that for years, just not as
embodied,
not as solidified as the character of Christine, but that's that's sort of her emotional genetics have passed through, like you have been her for a long time in that sense.
Have been her a long time, but when you put a wig and a dress and makeup on, I have become her.
Yeah.
And that is the difference. And I'm at their home in their TV set. Right. They're watching that, and they are connecting with that character. And a lot of them are not Louie fans. Not all Louie fans like the idea that I'm playing Christine, I'm sure.
But I don't see Louie in Christine. When I look at Christine,
no, you disappear.
I do not see you.
Yeah, that's my goal every time.
I've never seen you.
That's my
in
goal.
That character ever.
That I try not to analyze it too much. Except the only thing I try to never do is be Louie. I don't know if it makes any sense.
Yeah, when you're Christine.
Because I really when I'm on the set, I'm all mom. I'm all Christine all the time. Because I really want to, I don't know, I don't want to ruin it. It's almost like, if you did get to see God, you would really be a big mistake to try and reach out and touch him, I think. Right. Because I think that occurred to me to reach out to the thing and then have it disappear. Mm-hmm. That was part of the whole thing where I went, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was definitely that. I don't know if I've imagined it all or I've made it all about go towards the light or what it is, but that was something. And could it have been a hallucination? I doubt it. That's how I feel. Right. Like
And to this day, because I did have an experience once, to this day, you can still see it as clearly.
Well, I keep looking here because it was like that.
Yeah.
It was like right there.
You
and
never forget it, and you see it as in all of its reality, everything. Yeah.
And I don't know if we're just mental. Because that could be part of it. Right.
Oh. But listen,
Louie,
if
you
it
kill me.
If as my mom has said before, but if it brings you comfort,
yes,
to hold on to that. What's wrong with that? Like, there's
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, what did I see today? Somebody said this. Something I don't know where it was, but they said, some philosopher said, why wouldn't a human being believe in God? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Right. And I always say this.
Which is really, I don't know who it was.
No one knows. When someone says, oh, this is what happens when you die.
Yeah.
I'm Catholic. They talk about purgatory. I'm like, you don't know.
That's Friday night.
I'm sorry. You don't know if what's there. You only know when it happens to you. So I believe out of faith because that's what I want to believe. I hope that everything I believe is true. But I look at it this way. If it's not, it kept me happy in this life, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, so what? But if someone doesn't get that comfort and they're wrong, they missed out. And that's just the way I feel personally. And I never put my beliefs
on
anything. I never put my beliefs on anyone else.
My version of the cat biting my mom's arm was, years ago being like, because I went to Catholic school. Was being like, I don't know if I believe all of this stuff. And my mom was like, okay. but she accepted it, and we don't. And I don't begrudge her what she believes, and she doesn't begrudge me what I believe, and I don't judge her for it, and she doesn't judge me for it. It's like, well...
And that's how the world should be.
It would be nice if it were.
Yeah. No, but it
really
would be.
Nice.
I mean, that's the reason, and I know this will sound corny, but that's the reason I like California. Because there's a I guess hippiness about it, or a hopefulness. That's what I used to feel all the time when I first came to California. I go, it feels hopeful out here. And I don't know if it's because I grew up in Minnesota and there's not much sun.
I'm sure. I was just going to say that.
It's just
boy, your winters are like 9 months long. It's
brutal.
rough.
They have snow right now. They have a snowstorm today.
But it's that's not really a coincidence that you would feel that way, because it's proven that sunlight, the places that have the most sunlight, where people get the most sun exposure, have less suicides and people are less depressed than, say, somewhere where the sun never shines, where it's raining all the time. I believe that we need the natural vitamin D from the sun.
I agree.
For our mental health as well as physical. And
it's amazing you didn't turn into some sort of like Marianne Williamson person.
I love her.
Who I love myself.
Oh, I love Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, I think the reason that she probably wouldn't do that is because she just doesn't feel like
it should be one thing.
Well, and also like, I think it's her like not wanting to be a bother. You know what I mean? Like not telling people like you should do this, or if you asked her, she would tell you. But she wouldn't go out of her way to be like, you should do this.
Right.
If you asked her, she would answer you honestly. But I don't feel like. Do you agree with that?
No, I think you're probably right.
Except I do give a lot of unsolicited medical advice.
That's
and
funny.
I have 3 friends who, if I told them to go outside and kill a lizard and eat it, I swear to God they would do it. And then the rest of them are like, yeah, okay, but then they don't do it.
Please try that just one time. Just try it. Just wield your power.
See if you can get someone to eat a lizard.
They know who they are. I'm not kidding.
Not too big a one, so it hurts them, but a small lizard.
Yeah.
What else? How am I doing? Am I doing okay?
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know. Is there anything I'm not doing? I know you don't have grandkids yet, but
I'm okay with that because
as she grips the pillow,
I'm okay.
The pillow. You just ruined it.
I don't think I'll mention that on here, but
no, I seriously never thought it would happen, and and as I normally do, I am making lemonade. I just say, okay. If that's how it is, that's how it is. I have godchildren that I, adore, and
I'm a new son.
Yep.
Oh, here we go again.
I want to be. I want to be able to bite you.
I think we're closer to the. Yeah, we're closer to.
No, I'm just.
My mom's got the. This is my physical.
I'm like your mother. I'm very vain about that. I know Orizella was very vain about it.
Yeah.
And so I am too. So that's why when you said, "Can I call you mom?" and I gave you that look.
I didn't say call you mom. I said you're my new mom.
Yeah. And I was like, well,
no.
How about brother?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Right.
Here's the thing with my mom. My mom has this really great. I love it. I call it the passive aggressive sniff.
Yeah.
It's just a little affectation punctuation that follows. It's just like a little jab, where it's like, and the sniff follows the statement.
I felt
you heard it.
Yeah.
So but it generally
it wasn't bad though.
Generally, it feels like this. If it goes like this. Well, I mean, if you don't feel like having children, that's fine. I've got pets.
Oh, did she really always?
Yeah, it's always the.
Because she did do it.
Sniff right after. Oh, you don't have to. It's fine.
There's
the sniff. I know what you're doing.
That's so funny.
That was the thing.
Oh,
that's
my
a tell.
gosh.
That's your poker tell.
But you are doing great. Everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
My God, I always text them about when I watch The Wall.
I love those.
I never. I'm never happier than when I'm watching him be so happy for the people on the wall.
You have to come with us for the taping.
I don't know if I could be contained.
No,
I might come up there.
Let
her have it. Give her the money. Don't take $1 million away from her. Damn it. You fuckers.
Look what we have done.
That would be fantastic.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's just like I am telling you.
No, I know.
Like
I know.
I was a game show host.
I know that.
So, but wait a minute. This is...
They're so deserving.
It's incarnate.
I know.
It's some kind of he's up there, and I go, Jesus, he really means it. Yeah. He really means it.
He's gonna
you
cry.
really mean it. It's just so beautiful, and to have that, and to be able to do that in this particular world is so hard to do, and still keep the job.
But could I
That's
tell
what
you,
I think.
The very first taping of The Wall, we went into the trailer afterwards and the people lost. They didn't win. And they were these two women, so deserving. They were from the Cleveland area. Their mom was their pastor. They just wanted to help people in the church. They couldn't get any questions right. They didn't win any money. We went in the trailer and he looked at me and he said, I don't know if I can do this show.
Yeah, it's rough.
And I looked at him and I said, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but you know, you've got a contract. He goes, this is making me sick. At first, he was so upset.
Oh, yeah, the knot in my
my
stomach.
God.
That's what I mean.
I know.
Because I know he cares. I know you care.
Oh, because we spend like 3 hours, like
Right,
takes
with
about
the
3 hours
people.
to
I
make an
know,
episode.
but it means that you care so
and
much.
then we
It's so
have this
beautiful.
we have this area that they cordon off that I'm like literally right behind the wall, and there's a black curtain around
That's
it.
really funny, right
And we
there.
sit in there, and there's a direct feed to the stage and everything. So I'm in there most of the time when I go, and he'll come in during breaks. And I swear, one day he walked through that curtain, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and exactly the same time we both said, "I feel like I'm going to throw up."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
I
rough.
mean, we get so it's.
But I think that's also part of, you know, when I sort of think about, well, you know, why I used to drink or why I become obsessive or whatever. And, you know, I think my mom taught me so much empathy to the extent that I feel
probably unhealthy.
I absorb so much that it's like sometimes I think a lot of drinking or distracting myself with work or whatever is like I just can't feel all that. I can't watch like really heavy dramas. They stick with me for days. I'm just too much of a sponge.
Do you think it's the empathy that comics?
But I feel like it's
I mean, because I think it's. I mean, that's a really good. I mean, that's interesting. And
I think comics have a predisposition to their. You know, we're sensitive to the world. Like, we notice things.
Right.
We have sensitivities. We notice emotional exchanges, how people, like, how things work, why things work. But that sensitivity is literally sensitivity. Like, we're
Right.
overly... We're
almost connected.
We get
to
the
it.
bad sides of sensitivity too, where we get our feelings hurt really easily, or we get upset about dumb things really easily. So when I say empathy, I don't mean it like I'm such a caring person. I mean, like, I think it's almost detrimental.
I think you're right.
Because let me ask you if you think this is true. Sometimes I feel like there's almost and maybe this is an Italian Catholic thing, almost a little bit of a guilt economy in the sense where someone shows you they care by feeling what you're feeling, which is nice, but it doesn't always help you. It doesn't always make you useful in a situation. Like if Lydia's upset about something, I'm like, well, now I'm really upset about it too. Like, well, now I'm not helpful because I'm feeling so much of what she's feeling.
Yeah.
So how do you make that separation, you know, and not...
I don't know. I think it's something that I learned from my dad, that when somebody else, I mean, you want me in a crisis in the moment,
yes,
but when it's over, that's when it really hits me. But right at the moment, you know.
Do you think you got there then when you kept doing the show? You think you were able to get where she's talking about? You want me in the crisis? You want me not to take it all so personal?
Well, I do. Yeah, I do. I do when I go back in the trailer. But I just, with The Wall, and we don't have to talk. I don't mean to make this about my show, but with The Wall, I realize like every show's a little bit different that you do, and you kind of go, well, what does the show need?
Right.
Okay, what I think this show needs is the contestants just need me to be there. I need to be there for them in any capacity. Does that mean I'm going to help them get through when it sucks? I'm going to celebrate with them if they need to pick me up and throw me around. I'm a therapy doll for them, basically. And I realize that I'm just a therapy doll for the contestants. And oh, by the way, everyone else can watch at the same time. But that's my function, is to just be there for them. But yes, afterwards, when it does, I do. I really do. I feel it a lot. I really do feel a lot. But I don't know if that's selfish, though. Is it selfish to feel that much?
Because I feel like the entire audience and the
and I don't mean for The Wall, but I mean in
feels...
general, is it selfish to be that much of an emotional sponge?
No, it's just dangerous.
It is dangerous.
That's what you hit that on the head.
But...
And you may not even want to have any of this in there in your podcast. You may not want to.
No. I'll leave it in.
But I just mean I don't want to. All I was saying is I don't usually watch many game shows, but when The Wall. When I have them DVR'd, I can't watch it too close to bedtime. It's like I'm like a mental case.
If you watch, you can just
the afternoon better. In the afternoon,
when it's
I'm
light
good.
outside.
Yeah, light out. I got a guy here.
You just call me and go, hey, and I'll go, hey, everything's okay, and you'll go, okay, great, and then you.
No, I know everything's okay, but I went on the ride because. I think that's what's so great about the show, and I bet a lot of people feel that.
I think
joy
people
that you
needed a positive show. The contestants always love each other.
Right.
They're there for each other no matter what. It's a beautiful story. The host really cares. The audience really cares. They can win a lot of money. And even in the end, when they lose, they always say, we have each other.
Right. I think that's what the show is about.
Right.
That no matter what, a lot of money or no money, we still have each other. And I always think that's what the show is saying.
Well, they picked the right people. I think they have the best casting people in the business.
But I also think we should, because people who come on and we go, these are good people. These are good. These are empirically good people. You can see they do this and this and this for community. But I think what I would like to do on the show at one point is bring on people who have
prison records,
or maybe made bad. Well, that idea of maybe
a second chance.
A second chance. Like maybe they lost everything because of their addiction, or maybe they made bad decisions, and really showing people like, hey, it doesn't just because you haven't built a community center doesn't mean you're not a good person. And can we accept people and not just throw them away when they make mistakes? Can we show people like, hey, you can come back, you can overcome stuff, because
that's hope, and everyone needs hope.
Yeah, and it would have been very easy for me to get thrown away, when I was in the depths of addiction, but I was able
my dead body.
But I was
able
to come back. Was your mom a fixer in that way?
Yeah.
Like was she?
I'm answering like I was there all along.
But she's read the book. I tried to put everything like that in there. She was to the detriment, like you say, the fixer to the detriment, the empathy to the detriment. Like sometimes it would have been good. My dad said you should get off your ass and exercise and take care of yourself, Louie. But I couldn't say to him, well, you've destroyed me. So, or I was using an excuse. I don't know. I mean, it's very complicated when it gets in that thing. But I think, yes, my mom was able to fix things. And I think I'm a fixer too. I hate when there's, like you do, I hate when somebody's upset. I want to fix it. I don't want to I want you to be happy, or I want to be, then I'm upset. So I think that too much empathy or too emotional, I don't think is as good as, just like I don't think no emotion is any good.
Right.
But that middle ground is what I think especially comics are trying to get to. And I think that has to do with a lot of success. I do think success does even out a lot of it. You know, I mean, if you take it and add the gratitude to it and do the work and, you know, pray and do the things that, you know, nourish you, I think, you know, I think they're all important. And I think loss plays a big part in it. I had a lot of loss in my life with my brothers and sisters and my parents. So I think loss is the thing that wakes you up to a lot of things.
To appreciating things or to...
And to say, like, hey, life is not infinite, except in the spiritual way. It's finite. And I think you have to realize that. And I've had so much joy doing Christine. I think I should take better care of myself so that I can continue that joy. And I don't know how that plays out, if it's just time and you know, like if you keep trying to fix something and you go, well, it's just a lopsided table.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice table, but it's lopsided. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of...
No, but do you think that... Because, you know, what I've...
Lopsided Louie.
That's a good name.
This fall.
Lopsided Louie.
Lopsided
Fuck
Louie.
you.
My comedy special that's out also is called Big Underwear. So
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know what I talk to people about, like, I feel like there's so much emphasis on telling people that they need to lose weight, and it's like, but that doesn't... your weight doesn't define you. It doesn't make you a good person or not a good person. It's just the question of, you know, are you feeling healthy and are you making healthy choices? That's just a side effect.
Yeah, that's just a side effect.
Yeah.
But my feeling is it's no one's business anyway. Even if you're not feeling good and you don't feel healthy, I can't stand it when people go, well, I just want to help you feel better. I just want you to be healthier.
That's selfish talk right
what
there.
What damn business is it of yours?
If someone asks you...
That's right.
There's a difference between when people just say whatever the fuck they want and they go, well, I'm just an honest person. You're like, no, you're an asshole.
That's right.
An honest person answers truthfully when asked. An asshole decides that everyone should just have to listen to whatever the fuck they feel like telling them.
Except for my unsolicited medical advice, but it never has to
do the sniff.
But it never has...
Just trying to help.
It never has to do with anyone's weight or what they should do or anything. No, it's just like, if I think you're getting a cold, I'll tell you something to take.
Right.
If you're getting the flu, oh, take this. I know this, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, my God.
But one thing, just to tap on that with the weight is not what I'm talking about as much as the compulsive eating.
Right.
So the compulsive eating could make you morbidly obese, which eventually will destroy your health.
Right.
So, but it's the compulsive, you know what I mean? It's
any compulsive behavior.
Any compulsive
drugs,
so
alcohol, sex.
My food's an addiction for sure. And, but because God is, you know, helping me, I do not feel I'm not eating compulsively, which is really the key.
And you feel a difference in it now.
Yeah, I feel a difference because I'm not like right now thinking I got to get something to eat.
Right.
Or, you know, because we've gone through a tremendous amount of emotions in what we've done right now.
Yeah.
All this stuff. I mean.
And you don't have the urge to.
No, but I have a lot. Should I have sworn in this podcast?
Yes.
No, but you know what I mean? But that is part of the whole Christine thing, is taking chances. Because I think, you know, one of the reasons that I was a comic who worked always clean was, well, that's it. It's safe, and I know I'll get a job, and it does fit me well, and I'm really funny clean. But, you know, maybe I would even be funny or dirty.
But I think there's a difference between swearing and filthy.
Yes, of course. It's the Richard Pryor effect, I call it. There's
content that really bothers me. It makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
But the swearing part, they're just words. I mean, it doesn't really...
Yeah, they're just words.
I
agree
used to
with
be
you.
much more of a prude about it. I never swore, you know, and then I just realized they're just words.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not...
I mean, I think if the words have intent, like Chris was just talking about, if the person's an asshole, they're an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
They're not just being truthful. They're just assholes.
That's right.
What they're saying is wrong and mean and cruel to somebody. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and usually in comedy, there's a victim. So my victim was mostly me and my family.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of cases, and I think it was easy to shoot at that gallery, but I think that I was skilled at not hitting people's hearts. And so I think that's what I was good at. But I'm not sure I was as good as I could have been. I could have been nicer. I could have been more loving. I always think of those things.
Have you ever heard the song Barbra Streisand sings about, if I had changed a single day, what went amiss or went astray?
Right.
I may have never found my way.
Yeah. I
I
do not know that song.
Okay, but
she
I got talks about
that
the lost opportunities or the missed chances or a lost love or a turn that she didn't take.
Yeah.
And so I think if you don't look back and say, if only I had done this, if only I had been nicer, you wouldn't be where you are today.
I agree.
And I've got to say that they always say that you never know when you're going to peak in life, and it doesn't have to be when you're 20 or 30 or 40, but I really believe that you have come to this place, and I think your angels are all around you, Christine,
so thank you.
And I mean Christine. See, now I'm even calling Orazella Christine, but and Tommy, who I know was your best buddy and your best friend. Sibling, but I just feel like you're at that point now where the greatest things are opening up for you.
I think that I
feel it.
I think this is just the start for me. I hate to be like that, but I really
but you
feel like
shouldn't hate
I
to
was
be
getting,
like that.
I was getting ready for this.
And here it is.
Yeah.
And if any of those things had been different,
I
you
agree.
might not be where you are.
Yeah, those
today.
should I have done this or should I have done that's all weaponized
Right.
self-loathing,
But
like
I
trying to
think
attack yourself.
I think, and you're right, and I agree with all that stuff.
And I only know that because I do it. I'm very familiar with that dialogue. I'm very familiar with it.
I think that the end result is what I think the book is done. I feel a tremendous relief that it's finished because it's hard to write 65,000 words, first of all. I don't know how I ever agreed to it, but it's so many words. I was making up surveys in the middle of the book. What about if we did a survey in the middle of the book that would take up 10 pages?
What about a fold-out section?
What about a thing where I just repeat half of my act in the book? That would be about 100 words. So anyways, I think what I always like is that the book might help the person that was in the position I was before I was mean to my mom about a certain situation.
Mm-hmm.
To stop them. It's like your
Just
time machine of going back in time.
For them, not for me.
No, but that's your way of helping to make a different choice. You want someone to make a different choice.
Like if this makes somebody, I'll just give you the best example of Dear Dad. I gave the book to a lot of people. Because especially when I knew that things weren't good between them and their kid, I purposely would do that. Because that's who my mom was. So, Evel Knievel was a fan of mine. He'd come to my shows.
Loved him.
I loved him too.
Loved
there was
him.
Something about him that was just unbelievable. So, the last time I saw him, he said, hey, because I gave him a copy of Dear Dad. He said, hey, your book really helped me. I'm talking to my son, and we're getting
Robbie.
along. Yeah, with Robbie, and we're getting along great. And that was really important.
That made everything.
Well, it is because everyone experiences whatever their own trials are.
Right.
And it feels like it wasn't for nothing if you can pass that down and just go, here, take this and do something with it. You learn from it if you can.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard because people,
they
need to learn their own way.
Yes, of course.
But I guarantee you that, a percentage of people will read this book and it will change the course of their lives. And then that feels like, oh my God, everything I went through, all of it, it was worth it because these people.
Yes. It was worth it for one person having a better relationship with somebody that will matter. It will matter. It will matter. it mattered that Evil and Robbie, in my opinion, or Jim and Cindy,
right?
Two people who, I don't know, connect.
Well, it allows you to forgive yourself too, because you in a way I really do believe that you feel like I'm getting to go back and make a different choice through these other people that hopefully will make a different choice when facing it, because it's so easy with family to take it for granted or be like, oh, but like just last night my mom asked me about something. I was like, what? Fine. And she's like, you don't have to. And I go, I'm just, it's because it's really weird. But so my dad is being inducted into his high school's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I can't go to it. It's in May, and I can't go to it. And so they said, well, will you send a video? And my mom's like, she called last night, and she was like, are you going to send a video? I'm like, yes, I'm going to make it. And she's like, why are you so upset? I don't know. I'll make it, And then I texted her afterwards, and I was like, that wasn't your fault. That was my fault. And I said, at the core of it, I'm just really sad that he's not here to accept.
But I totally knew that.
And so it was just all defensive, and it's so strange to me because I should be very happy, and I am happy. Yeah, I am happy. He would have loved this, but it makes me very defensive because it just reminds me of he's not here. And so, but she was cool enough to be like, I know. Like she took I bit her on the arm and she was sweet about it afterwards.
But what I tried to say is that's your grief and those are your feelings and they're not wrong.
Yes.
So if that's how you're feeling, that's okay.
That's the name of my next book.
If that's how you're feeling.
That's your grief. And that's your feelings,
that's
and
your
you're
fucking
not
grief.
wrong. Yeah,
that's your fucking feelings.
You know how in every good book there's in every good book there's something that leaves you wondering about one thing.
Yeah.
I wonder about one thing.
Sure.
Wonder what happened to Mia.
I know.
Mia.
I think of Mia.
I just want to find Mia now.
I know. And
Mia was a girl that he met in the airport. I mean,
she was, she was morbidly obese and she was young. And I thought,
pretty,
very pretty, but maybe I could connect and
You tried.
Well, I think I did. I think on some level, I think when two people who are big, when you're fat and you talk to another fat person, there's an understanding. Don't take my food. No. Well, I had to break the tension.
There it is. There's the defensive armor. There it is.
Oh, my God.
Pew, pew, pew.
You're not going to take me. Grief. You're not going to take me down.
But there's an understanding that there's a common suffering that both of them share. And so I was trying to connect, but I didn't want to be. She seemed young and she had it, and I remember that. I would have felt the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did not pursue her.
You didn't push.
I didn't pursue her, but I know how I am. Maybe she'll read it. Or maybe some other Mia will read it.
Yes.
And maybe, and if you know this, Mia, and you read the book and you know it, don't tell her that that's in the book. Because that's the cruelest thing, and even worse, because it might not be the right Mia. You know what I mean?
No.
So look at, but you know what I mean? Like, I still can see her getting on the escalator and going down and just thinking, stop. You're not going after her. There was two connections.
Sure.
And I just said, you can't do this. First of all, you don't have the time, and you may not be the right person to help.
Right.
You might, and Louie, you just need to work on helping yourself, and that will have the biggest effect. And, that all sounds good, but, the desperate part of myself wanted to run after her.
But she got through the flight. She was scared to fly, and you saw her afterwards, and you said, oh, you made it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it comforted her.
I hope so. I mean, I wanted to put my arms around her and go.
I know.
Hey, I know, I've been there.
What's the best sort of, as we're wrapping this up, like your best your best kind of mom? Like, what's being your best mom? Like, what is the best advice?
If you're a mom?
Well, what's the best advice that you ever, that you ever took away from your mom, or something, like, just as a way to pass that through, have her live on more? Like, what was something that you always go to with her that you think about, a way that she lived or something that she said or something?
You never know what kind of day somebody had, so be nice to them.
Perfect.
And I hated that when she told me it.
I know, but...
Sure. That teenage
But that guy's an asshole. He's taking up 2 spaces.
That's the dumbest thing you ever said, or something like that. I don't know what I said.
I know, Louie, but maybe his dog died yesterday.
Yes, but...
he's grieving inside.
There she is.
Yeah.
My mom incarnate. It's really true, though. Like, I take that with me more often. Like, I'll get mad at somebody, and I'm really... And I just turn into my dad. Yeah. Hey, don't try. I just get mean. I know I have a mean side because I grew up in an abusive household. So I know I can be really mean like my dad. And so I really feel bad after I'm mean. But mostly I'm able to stop myself and go, Louie, come on. You don't know what kind of day this person had, and that's why they're acting that way. Don't take it personal. They don't know who you are, don't know what you want or what you need. Stop being so selfish.
Yeah, and that takes more effort than just writing people off and just being dismissive and going, "Oh, he's a fucking asshole." Maybe they, maybe they lost something, or maybe they're not happy in their life, or maybe they're not where they want to be, or maybe they had a shitty morning or something.
Yeah, I always feel there's so many great comics who never got a break that deserved a break. I've always felt like, this person's so funny. And I come from that thinking of, I'm the luckiest person in the world because I got the break, because I was likable, and because I was because of whatever. Mm-hmm. But I always feel like, justice isn't measured. It's just what people like, they like. And there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how hard you try, you may not be able to make the public like something or like what you do. And I just got lucky. Honestly, I just feel like I got lucky.
Well, I mean, I also think people engineer their own luck in the sense that you worked really hard. You were very aware of, the choices you were making and what you were doing and paying attention to your audiences. And so things that might feel like luck to you, or really maybe even subconscious choices that you were making.
I worked really hard.
You worked really hard.
I did work really hard.
Anyone can get a break, but people who are successful over a long period of time, that's not an accident. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that you were aware enough to recognize that there was a chance for Christine to be this vessel for your mom, and to be and I think that's why the character is so great, is because it's just so authentic. You can't write that. I mean, I know that Karen Kilgariff works on the show, and Jonathan Kreisel, they're brilliant comedy people, brilliant writers, but it's just those little nuances that you cannot learn. They're just so like, fuck, that's a person, that's a real person. Like, you did that, and so that part's not luck. That's...
And I always like to think luck is the residue of good design. I heard that a long time ago, and I thought that was...
What's your best mom advice? You got a good one?
Listen and listen.
Oh, come on, you guys! Breaking the...
I was just right in there.
He's been
listen.
What? I'm busy over here.
He has been doing that to me since he was 2 years old.
Oh my God!
Like always teasing me or getting one on me.
Yep.
And I just always laugh because I think it's hilarious when he does it.
Or she just doesn't have the energy to, be like, get out of my face.
But listen, was that the finish of it, or?
No, that was the start.
Yeah, I cut her off all the time. Okay, so we'll listen.
No, listen to your child and try not to they want to be heard. And if they want advice, you can give the advice, but it just has to be, it's not always about you telling them what to do. You have to finesse it. You have to hear what they're saying and how much do they want feedback or do they want none. They just want to vent.
So you just
go, okay, yeah, let them be heard and unconditionally love them. I mean, on my I am so happy with my Twitter account. I love it. I love everybody on there. I swear, I follow everyone at Nerdist Mom.
Oh.
If anyone I tweeted,
what kind of
I
beautiful
tweeted to
compliment is
you.
that?
Well, it is great, except for the fact that my mom realized that she could get back at me. Like if I tell a dirty joke, then she just starts saying the word vagina a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like vagina.
Yeah, I go vagina, because it drives them crazy. So, and they love that interaction. But I call them my tweeps. I call them all my kids. And I follow everyone who follows me, and I communicate with them. It's like a full-time job. My Twitter,
You know what I'm doing right now? I'm following you.
He's following me on Twitter.
Well,
you'll see
I hate to do this during the podcast.
You'll see me because I follow you, but I see so much pain in so many of these people because they aren't accepted by their parents. And I think to myself, how could any parent turn on their own child, especially a lot of them, it's about their sexuality, and that drives me over the brink. I mean, that child is your child. What difference does that make? And it hurts me so much when people say, my parents don't accept me. I haven't seen them in years. We don't talk. I just say, I'm always here.
That drives me crazy too, because
can't stand it.
Sometimes and I'll say to somebody, somebody will say, my sister and I, we grew up watching you and we just love you. And I go, how is your sister? And the woman will say, I haven't talked to her in 7 years. And I go, what? Should we call her? I do it. I always try to get them to call her. And I go, hey, this is Louie. I'm with Janet. She says hi. I just wanted to say hi. And she said that you guys haven't talked for 7 years. I hope you guys could talk. Here's your sister.
I think if FX was ever willing to do this for the show, because they could, to set up the shoot, they could write it. They could say it's a promo. But I think you, as Christine, should just bring people onto a live stream and just be like, "What do you want to? Who do we need to call?"
Yeah.
And you just call people that they haven't spoken to in a long time.
I love that idea.
And you kind of moderate.
That would be a great yes. That would be. You mean like real people?
Real people.
Yeah.
Come on, like that person. I've talked to my sister in 7 years. Let's call her. I'll bet let's call her.
Yeah.
And then you essentially as Christine foster these people, reconnecting. And
so you say as Louie, would be no good at it.
As long as that's the most negative interpretation you can say.
No, I'm just kidding.
But as a live, as a live stream thing.
Yeah,
whether it's
a great
you
idea.
or Christine.
No, I didn't mean that.
I think you should. I think you would legitimately help people in that way, and it'd be funny too.
And it'd be funny, and it would be easier. And your instincts are right, because it would be better as Christine. And not as Louie, because Christine's a character.
She's a character,
yeah.
So it's disarming for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
It's a character. You have a little bit of separation. She's a mom. She's got, it's like, and yes. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. Is there anything, everything you ever wanted to say is in this book to your mom? Do you feel like there's anything that you feel closure on?
I just wanted to sell better than the dad book. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does.
I mean, I know it sounds petty and stupid, but I want my mom to be higher than 13 on the New York Times bestseller list.
Okay, everyone, let's take it to number one.
No, but I mean, honestly, is that the silliest thing?
No, because you want her to have the win.
Yeah, I want her to have the win because she paid for it.
I loved every page.
Do you think she felt
of
like
this book.
She probably felt like she had the win, right?
I think she did. I think at the end she lived longer than my dad.
You took her to London. You took her to Paris.
I took her to the White House.
Took her to Las Vegas. Oh, the White House.
Even though I was a shit, but she loved it. She loved it, and I was proud of that fact. And she loved my fame. I wish I would have appreciated my mom as much as she appreciated me.
But that will never happen.
That's really hard
no
to do.
Way.
No, but I don't mean it in a bad way.
No,
I just
know,
mean
but it's not possible.
I don't say it for any. It's just there.
It's not.
Don't think I'm suffering from it.
I know that.
I'm not suffering from it.
No, but it's not.
I'm in the moment of it.
I know.
I'm in the moment of it, and I just want people to know that they have the chance of a lifetime, if their mom's still around, to fix or attempt to, that they'll be able to say they did it.
Right.
It's
or
really
even,
true.
Or even someone with a dad who.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Or a sister or a child.
Right.
If you listen.
Oh my God,
listen,
a child. If you're not fixing it with your child.
If you think ignoring something fixes it, you're out of your mind. So. Anyways, what a wonderful
this book
honor
is a
to be able to be with you and your mom.
Gift.
Yeah,
I loved every single page, every picture, every fact, I think I could recite it from cover to cover.
I'm glad you liked it. I mean, it really meant a lot to me, and
I hope people really will. Andrew
Postman, helped me with this book a lot. He's a great writer, and I'm a really good writer. Mm-hmm. And I'm unorganized, but he really put it in and made me even work harder, and I really appreciate everything he did.
So, Hey Mom is the book. Let's make it. Let's get it past 13 on the bestseller list.
Absolutely.
And I'm always so delighted that we're still friends after all these years. And I'm so excited for you and proud of you, and I'm happy to, I'm happy that you are trying to make people aware, and I think you honor your mom very beautifully. I hope this mom over here knows that even though I'm a pain in the ass like 70% of the time, that I do so much love and appreciate you.
I know that, honey. You show it every day.
And I just can't thank you enough for just being cool and being supportive and and showing me what I still feel like I have not been able to achieve myself yet, which is just that unconditional love. Maybe it's just a mom thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a mom thing.
Well, I had it from my dad.
Someone grows in your body and they're a part of you. Maybe that's just a mom thing. I don't know.
I think you're right.
No, it's parental.
I think it's parental.
I receive that so much.
Everyone says it changes when you have a kid, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm having breakfast every morning, and people are bringing their kids in, and their kids are just kicking the bench, and I'm like, these fucking parents, how do they not know? We're all sitting on the same bench, but they just, and I guess just something happens, But I do love the idea of like, because I have friends who have kids, and they go, yeah, other kids kind of drive me crazy, but I love my kids. I love my own kids.
Yeah, because you can't. I used to say to his dad, what if he is the ugliest baby in the world and we don't know it? Because when we look at him, God lets us only see how beautiful he is.
Did you really say that?
I swear to God,
I never knew that.
My right hand to God.
That's so great, though.
It's great.
I said, and
it's
what
so
if?
great.
And his dad said, no, but everyone's always saying what a beautiful baby. I go, maybe they feel sorry for us.
Your mom
And we don't know.
My mom thought I was going to be a little girl.
Oh, I was convinced.
wow.
I just knew it was a girl.
I was going to be a Jennifer.
Yes, I had the name. It was going to be a girl.
Oh, it was the worst name. It was like Jennifer.
Jane.
She wanted to call me JJ.
Oh, no.
I liked it.
JJ.
I liked it. And then when he was born and the doctor pulled him out, he said, well, he's a pointer, not a setter. And it took me a second. I was just like,
oh, he's so happy that he came up with that line.
I'm so glad he probably delivered it 10 times. He probably delivered that line more times than he delivered babies.
Right.
Thanks for being on the podcast, Mom. It was really great to have you here.
Oh, my God.
So
it's a dream come
honored.
true. I really,
for
right
me,
away.
I can't even tell you.
But can I
what it
tell you,
means.
when I found out I was going to get to do the Nerdist, you know what I thought immediately? I wonder if Chris will let me have his mom on.
I thought it was a great idea.
And you embraced it. A lot of people said absolutely no.
No, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
But after I asked that of you, I thought, well, I should ask other people. And no, there's no interest.
Well, fuck them.
So, no, I don't mean it in a bad way.
I do. Fuck them.
Okay.
This is part of Fuck You, Louie. Fuck you.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Well, it was wonderful. It's a joy, really. So special.
I feel like my mom orchestrated this, too.
Oh, I do, too.
Damn.
I
She's
do,
still
too.
working it.
Or a Zella.
It is crazy how any moment in life you think about, like, everything that had to happen
for this
to just condense into this singular moment.
Yeah.
Is mind-blowing, all the things. So I'm glad you're happy. And
thank you, Chris. You're lovely.
Call me anytime. Text me anytime.
I love it.
Come hang out, Pasadena.
All right, I'll do it, Mom.
Are you in town most of the time, or are you performing in Vegas?
I live in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I'm not in town all the time, but when I am, I definitely will bug you guys.
Where's your You have a residency?
Yeah, no, I don't have a residency right now.
You don't?
No, I'm doing. I had it for 11 years, and that's enough.
Yeah. But
if somebody offered me one, I would probably go, okay. Because comics love to be comics. I still love to be a comic.
Yeah.
I still know that there's another joke out there that is perfect.
It's out there somewhere.
I'm looking for it. I really am looking for the perfect joke.
Do you have any ideas about what it's about?
It's a joke that it would sneak up on you. You know? It's a joke that, that would sneak up on you.
Regret! Come in here!
It's
sorry I did that. Why did I do that? Oh, that was the old voice you used to do. Oh.
Yeah.
That's so like.
Like the joke about saying to the crowd, hey, do you think he knows he's that big? Those are the jokes that mean the most to me.
Really?
Because they say it all for me, those kind of jokes. Or, I love jokes. I have to say, I just absolutely, like the first joke I ever did about my dad was I was talking to somebody who was with their dad, and I go, your dad and you get along? And they go, yeah. I go, well, my dad, we never got along. I go, he never hit me, though. He just carried a gun. And it got such a big different laugh than my fat jokes that I went, oh, my God, that's a good joke. And then I go, he never hit us. He just, and so I knew that he never shot us. He'd just go, that's what it was. And I just knew right there that another thing was born. I knew it like opens a portal in you where there's a whole bunch of jokes in there. So.
Right. That's what we search for all the time. That fucking lost treasure room.
Because it's in there.
It's in there somewhere.
If you would just be more unconditionally loving.
That's the problem.
You would find it. And if I would eat less. No, I'm just kidding. If I would completely forgive myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
well, let me know when you do it, and then I'll do it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. All right. I adore you. Thank you so much for being here. Love you too, Mom.
Thank you. Love you, honey.
You know what, Katie? You're pretty fucking great, too.
Yeah,
you're just sitting over there not getting any love or adulation. And
I saw Katie. I was keeping tabs on her.
Yeah.
She really enjoyed it, I think. The podcast, I'm that kind of person.
One of these days, I'm going to get her on this show.
Yeah, I think you should. And you should get her on to talk about her mom sometime.
Katie and I can talk about sports.
Oh.
I'll be in the other room.
Right, Katie?
I'll be back for that one. You can just do that one yourselves.
Okay.
All right, the end.
ID10T scanning complete. Enjoy your burrito.